On Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base. McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. It is out. The Buccos win.
That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Starbucs. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With us, we got our co-host, Jim Rosati. Jim, what's up, man? Happy Monday.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Start of the week. And we're here to talk about Pirates baseball. So, good stuff.
That we are.
Maybe good stuff. Yeah.
Well, right. That's debatable. No, it's good stuff for us because we have a show to do. We got some news and updates to talk about, I guess. But I did have a good weekend. It was my birthday weekend, as you all know. Because unlike you, Jim, I didn't hide it from anyone until midnight.
I mean, I'm not going to tell people it's my birthday. They should know. The real ones know.
I didn't know. That tells you where I stand and who I am. I did not know it was your birthday. But no, I mean, so. I'm the type too. I don't like walk around telling people it's my birthday. I feel weird. But apparently my wife likes to do that. So I'm glad you brought that up because it was like actually irritating me. So we were out on Friday, right? No, Thursday. I took Thursday off. That was my actual birthday. And I swear, like everyone, she's like, it's his birthday. I'm like, will you shut the F up? Like, no, like that's not a conversation starter. So I'm with you on that sense. I don't like that either. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. So you're not like Tyler, right? Where
Correct.
Tyler broadcasts it for everybody.
Weeks in advance.
He makes it this like week thing. Like it's Tyler's birthday week. That makes no sense to me.
Right. No, I hear you there. That's me. I'm not.
I guess the other thing too is like once you reach a certain age, it's like there's not that special anymore anyways. It's just like, oh, I'm 34.
I'm going to sit in the house anyways and not do anything. There's like that moment where, like your birthday turns into I'm going out, I'm getting drunk, I'm getting wasted, it's my birthday. So today I get to be by myself.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So,
right. I get to be left alone. That's my celebration.
Yeah.
So, right. I hear you there.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Happy birthday, though. Hope you had a good birthday.
I did. I got to be by myself.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice. But yes. So anyways, the Pirates, they had a series against the Padres. Did not go too well. Not terrible though, right? Not terrible. I mean, they had a nice extra innings win the other night. That's kind of where it stops. But they had a nice extra innings win the other night.
So that was Saturday night. That was a really fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Like just like all around a really fun game. Like you mentioned, extra innings, walk-off win. It was kind of back and forth the whole game, right? 1-0 Pirates lead, 3-1 Padres, 3-3, 5-3, 5-5, 6-5, 7-6. So it was back and forth. Lot of fun. It's cool to see, especially like those late inning big hits like Chavis had. And I mean, who else? Hayes, Reynolds kind of stole the show in the 10th, I believe, in the 10th inning. So yeah, it was a fun game for sure.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, you had that fun game, and then I guess you can transition it into Sunday, where we had a Mitch Keller start, and where we probably stand on Mitch Keller these days. Not just us, like everyone, right? Everyone just keep hearing, right? We're tired of Mitch Keller. We're tired of Mitch Keller. How and why is he still in this rotation? Let's fire him into the sun. And Mitch Keller showed you why he's still in the rotation. Now we're here to find out if this is going to translate and carry further into the season, other than just being a one-start game. But as we keep saying, it's not as if there's like this great rotation or guys awaiting to come into the rotation that are just waiting to kick Mitch Keller out. So this is exactly why you're going to keep him here. He had a really, really good start.
He really did. I mean, you could probably say that it was the best start of the year for a Pirates pitcher, and I don't think too many people would argue with you. There was that one Quintana start, but yeah, I mean, he goes 6 innings, gives up 5 hits, 1 run. The only run was a home run, which was that the which home run? Oh no, it wasn't a home run. No. Yeah, no, it wasn't a home run. But it was a Manny Machado hit to drive somebody in.
Yes.
And
it was Machado.
Which almost you can't even blame. You almost can't even blame him for that, because Manny Machado is just otherworldly right now. But 5 strikeouts, no walks was, I thought, the biggest story. And it was something that I noticed throughout the start was he was constantly throwing strikes. He was throwing strikes. San Diego's hitters weren't necessarily being very aggressive either. So it kind of played into his throwing strikes. And it felt like every hitter he was 0-1 and then 0-2. Like I felt like he was like constantly in these 0-2 counts with these guys. And I don't care who you are. If you're a major league pitcher and you're constantly getting in 0-2, like you're going to have success. Like hitters just aren't as good with 0-2. They've got to defend the plate. They've got to they can't be aggressive. Right. And so that's where I found he was constantly in those situations yesterday. Which was good. He threw a ton of fastballs. I don't know if I don't remember the final number, but I remember there being like twice as many fastballs as there were like breaking stuff. I feel like
try to go to game, but I think it was 68% fastball.
Yeah, so lots of fastballs. But again, he was kind of taking advantage of San Diego's cautious approach yesterday, really, and getting ahead of hitters, and he would really attack them, which it was good to see. Again, we've seen good starts from Keller before, and it's why we're still doing this. It's why we're still having conversations like this, right? It's like because we see stuff like this, but then can he string these together? Like, can he do this again next week? Can he do it again, right? Because that's something that he hasn't been able to show that he can do. He hasn't been able to show that he can repeat this. So great start. Maybe his best start. I would say probably the Pirates' best start of the season. But again, let's I want to see more of it. Like that. Let's see more of it, Mitch. Come on. Keep it going. Keep going.
I mean, I don't think it's much to argue. The only one you could really debate, like you're saying, is the Quintana one, and just the fact that Mitch Keller went 6 innings to me is almost like that's enough to warrant the best start of Pirates season.
Yeah.
However, ironically, we're talking about this great start, by Mitch Keller, and the Pirates still don't have a win by a starting pitcher, and Mitch Keller is still 0-4. So it speaks a lot there as well. But yes, I mean, Mitch Keller was really, really good. To back up, and I correct, it wasn't 68%. It was 62% fastballs at the end of the day. But what I will say is something you saw. So the first time through the lineup, he was sitting at about 80% fastballs. I mean, almost used it exclusively. Then once he started facing the second time through the order and such, he started mixing in some more. But you're absolutely right. He was throwing the fastball. He was throwing it and locating it like to success. And we saw the velocity still there. I mean, that's been this story, right? But that was like the big thing that stood out too. Like what I thought was going to be his last inning, right? His last pitch of the 5th, when he hit 100 on the radar. I mean, still pumping gas 5 innings deep. He looked good. This is a good lineup as well. This. I mean, I know there's Tatis Jr. in it right now, but this is still a very good lineup. And like you said, the way Machado's playing, it's out of this world. It's amazing. So he faced a good lineup, went against another good starter in Joe Musgrove, and matched him, basically. He went, for the most part, like pitch for pitch, but Joe Musgrove. This is like one of those confidence-building games. You hope he comes out of here looking good, continues what he did this start to next start, like you're saying. Because we had these talks last year also. Look at this Mitch Keller start. And then he goes back to the old Mitch Keller, right? So we've seen, I think, more flashes this year of this type of stuff for his confidence. We saw him in spring training. He just looked like a whole nother pitcher. You see a bit of that here and there this year, right? You see a bit of the control and command of his pitches, right? And like you said, this time, no walks. So like you're seeing all these things string together on this start. And like you're saying, this is why you're keeping him. If he has all this potential, he has the potential to be doing this type of stuff. Hopefully, I don't know, Jim. Like, are you more intrigued? Let's put it this way. If you're a betting man, next start, do you see, and I won't have to go like 6-1, one earn, but like, do you see a quality start in a sense, or back to Mitch Keller that we all know?
Well, the one thing he's going to have going for him is next start, he's going to be facing the Reds.
Yes.
So if I had to bet, I think he'll put another start together. That'll be good. Because the Reds are just terrible. So I don't know. I liked it was basically just like a perfect storm yesterday. The Padres approach was playing into his approach. He was getting ahead of hitters, and he was inducing soft contact. He wasn't walking people. So he still gave up 5 hits, but I think the biggest piece of this was the no walks. You can give up 5 hits in a start and be perfectly fine if you're not walking people. Like if that's all you're giving up, like then you're good. But every once in a while when we start seeing him walk 2 to 3 people, then you're adding that on top of the hits and you're putting base runners on base for those hits. That's when he gets in trouble. So yeah, if I'm a betting man, I think he does another good start next time out. We'll see how that goes and see how he looks. But yeah, I think he can do it. I still am not like completely convinced though that like the one thing I guess I'm encouraged by is that his stuff is different this year, right? Mm-hmm. Like his stuff is different. But I still am not like overly confident in that he can put it all together consistently.
Right.
Like he needs to show me. Like he has to show it to me for me to believe it.
And that's where I stand. This is very encouraging. So it's something you like to see, you want to see, and I'm glad we saw it. But it's been his MO. Like we all know he has stuff. That's why he's been a top prospect. He's just never been able to give the results. Last night, I guess yesterday gave results, and if he can continue it, then yeah. Like to me, it's a complete wait and see. But again, I am giving him every opportunity for me to wait and see it, because you're not going to cut ties with him just right now for no reason other than the fact that you don't want to see him in the rotation, because he's going to have that opportunity to figure it out somewhere else, and then you're looking at him as that next pitcher. So this is why he's in the rotation. You're probably going to see him the whole year. It is what it is. But anyways, so a very, very encouraging start by Mitch Keller, but more or less pump the brakes. Let's continue to hope to see results from him is what we're going with this, right?
Yeah, I think it's okay to be excited, but again, like I'm still at that point where he's got to show this to me on a consistent basis. Yeah.
So next up for Mitch Keller, I guess let me go to the first start. Zach Thompson. Wasn't a great outing, but I will say like it wasn't terrible. I don't know. Like he gave me that feeling again where like it wasn't good, right? But he kind of unraveled there, I think, in the 5th inning, right? They got pulled. Like I almost felt like he could have finished. He was going towards going to 5 innings, which again would have been a huge plus to begin with. Maybe that's just where we're at. Like maybe I'm just my bar is so low with this.
That's exactly what
rotation.
It is. Yeah,
that it's just like if you can go 5 innings, I'm almost ready to crown you as well. That's a pretty solid start.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're looking at his entire season, it was the first time he went more than 4.
I mean,
so
4.1, 4 earned.
If you want to call that solid, be my guest. No, he's been bad. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, he has been bad all year. It's been bad. The Zach Thompson, I didn't know much about him when he got traded, right? But seeing the numbers, it was like, well, there's a 28-year-old who finally broke through last year and put up pretty good numbers. Maybe he just found out, maybe something clicked for him, right? We have not seen that at all. Again, he is yet to go more than 4 1/3. I'm looking at these. There's just nothing about his numbers or like what he's done so far stands out to me as something promising. Like he's just been bad all around. Again, like this rotation, he does have the luxury of like there not being a ton of depth right now, especially with them, building up Rowan's arm. But he will be able to start a lot of games until they found out, they just say, okay, you're not it, or he can figure out how to be a little more effective on a consistent basis. But right now he's been bad. His numbers are bad. He's looked bad. His StatCast page is bad. Just a lot of blue everywhere. He's been bad.
So that he has been, and I'm with you. Like I didn't have high hopes for him coming into the season. It just goes again, like his career path. I mean, he had a really good, not to take it away, like he did. He had a really good season last year for the Marlins, but it was a half a season basically, right? Where like the first 2 outings he had, I believe, was like enormous strikeout numbers. And then after that, it normalized. So like his K rate, because it was such a small sample, looked a lot higher than what it really was for the most part. And then like it just is what it is. Like he was basically a career minor leaguer who got cut as a minor leaguer and was signed as a minor leaguer, who had like this breaking out party last year, came out of nowhere and had a solid season, but he's old. And, like how much do you really want to believe into that half a season, in that sense? And I think you and I both kind of just really didn't. That's why we really weren't that intrigued by the Jacob Stallings trade. When a lot of people were like, oh my God, Zach Thompson's going to be good. He's a middle of the rotation type of guy. And it's like, I think he's a reliever at best. And even as a starter, he's basically a reliever because like you're saying, he doesn't go more than 4 innings. So it has been bad. There's been some things like that Brewers start was encouraging until it fell apart, right? And like I felt like even like with his start, like I'm not going to go that far. And that's kind of going like it was a little bit encouraging. Like the first few innings, it wasn't bad until it just unraveled. And I looked and it was like, yeah, he gave up the home run to Kim, and then the 5th inning, right when he went back out there, just kind of fell apart for him. But he isn't that good of a pitcher. And like you're saying, like the numbers support it. I know ERA is not a great indicator, but like the guy's got a 10 ERA on the season in 4 starts. In 4 starts, he's gone 14 innings pitched. Doesn't really translate to success.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the walk rate. He's just walking way too many hitters. Almost 6 walks per 9 innings. You just can't do that. Like you can't do that in the major leagues and expect to be successful. He's been pretty unlucky with like the home runs so far. Probably, that'll probably normalize a little bit, but you can't walk people. Like you can't walk that many people and not have swing and miss stuff and get away with it. Like if you're going to be striking out more than a batter an inning, then you can afford to walk someone every now and then. But if you can't strike out people, which he doesn't really have strikeout stuff. Like he's a pitch to contact guy. If you don't have wipeout pitches to strike people out, like those walks are going to hurt you. And that's what we've seen with him.
Yeah, really can't say it better. You said the strikeout stuff. Like he's only striking out 15% of the batters. That's bad. That's not even just like, well, he's not a strikeout guy. That's just bad. It's almost as much as he's walking. He's walking 11.7. He's striking out 15.6. Like you're saying, that does not equal success. And again, I get it's small sample to that degree. Like I'm not just going to say this is what he is because of 14.1 innings pitched.
Yeah.
However, when you look at his career and you see the type of pitcher he's pretty much been his entire career, these numbers make sense. It's not as if this is like the blip on the wall. This is what he's been. This is what he's showing that he is to this date. And this is why when that trade happened, I didn't believe in Zach Thompson. So again, like he's going to be in the rotation. He's going to show you if this truly is him or if there's maybe something better or whatnot. But I'm not believing into it at all. With like Mitch Keller, I'm going to stay intrigued, right? We keep talking like, is the next start going to be good? I have no expectations for Zach Thompson. Just get us to the time period where the Pirates are good enough to either have him in the rotation, in the bullpen, or just not on the team at all.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had any sort of belief that Zach Thompson was a guy who was going to be on the next good Pirates team. Like he's a guy to throw innings for the time being. Like that's what I thought of him going into this year, and he really hasn't changed my mind at all. If anything, he's actually made it worse because he's not even throwing innings at this point. So,
right, you literally had one job. It wasn't even to be good. It was just to get through the fifth inning.
Yeah. That was my expectation, and he's not even living up to that. But again, it's early. It's just so far we haven't seen any signs of what you would want to see out of him.
Right. Yep. So not a good start out of him. We talk about Mitch Kellers, and how about Brubaker's start? I guess if we're going to say, that was a little more encouraging. That would be in the middle of Keller and Zach Thompson. It wasn't great, obviously, but it was, to me, it was a solid start, especially for JT Brubaker.
I thought he looked pretty good. He ran into some trouble early. Let me kind of bring up. I think he gave up a run. No, he didn't give up a run in the first inning. We took the lead. He gave up that bomb to Machado. Hosmer's home run was. Machado wasn't against Brubaker. The Hosmer home run was against Brubaker, and that one was just like a little flick of the wrist, cheapy down that left field line. But I thought overall Brubaker looked pretty good. He gave up 3 runs, but he went 5 innings. All 3 runs came in that 4th inning. Again, it was all on that one swing. So outside of that one swing, he was good. He did his job. He did his job. 5 innings, 3 runs. Like I'm not going to, if he does that almost every time, he's going to do a little bit better than that sometimes, but like, I'm not going to get upset about a pitcher going 5 innings and giving up 3 runs. Like you
see what I'm talking about? Like that's where we're at. Like as long as you go 5, like, that's pretty much the bar for the starting pitching. Like as long as you make it to the 5th inning, we're okay. We feel comfortable. It's like, it's a good start.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a good start, but it's like, it's okay. Right. And I guess the thing with Brubaker, this is really his last 3 times out. He hasn't pitched awful. He's kept the team in the game, every single one of those starts. But again, his issue is I feel like he just gives up those big hits there's like one time where he unravels, and like if it weren't for that one thing, he would have had a really good start. But again, he gave up that 3-run homer, and that kind of took his start from being really good to it was okay,
Right.
And that seems to kind of just be a recurring theme with Brubaker, which again, I think is why, like, I'm not ready to give up on the guy. He has decent stuff. I just think he's so much better suited off for like a bullpen role. And he has to start on this team because there's no one else to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you can't write him off because you need him. He's too invaluable for the innings he's going to give you for this club today. But I think you're absolutely correct. Like I can't wait for the Will Crow moment out of him. Not to say he's going to be that good, you know what I mean? But like we're ready to throw Will Crow into the sun, right? Like we're tired of Will Crow, get him out of here. And now he's doing this as a reliever. And like I can't wait for that moment to start talking up JT Brubaker because of how good he's in that bullpen. Because right now, like you and I, right, like we're intrigued by him. We like him. Like I don't hate him, especially nowhere near like the Will Crow line last year at one point, like I think he'll be good. Like he's like to the degree like Chad Cole with me, I believe in Chad Cole more, but I always felt like if he doesn't hack it here, he's going to be that next guy that goes into the into the bullpen and just like kills it, which didn't happen. Like I feel like that is going to be JT Brubaker. Like I feel like he's going to get people pissed off in Pittsburgh, which he already has, right? And eventually transition to the bullpen and become an effective pitcher. So for his sake, for our sake of having good conversation, like I can't wait. And for the sake of the Pirates being good to put him in that situation, I can't wait for that also.
Yeah, because it's funny though, because he made his debut as a reliever, right? Like he got called up, pitched out of the bullpen, and I think everyone's first impression was like, "Oh my gosh, JT Brubaker! Like he looks pretty good." And then he got thrusted into the starting role, and then he's just kind of been swimming in mediocrity really ever since, if you can even call it that. I mean, he's borderline mediocre. Really, he's basically replacement level. The home runs have been an issue. Like that's his main thing there. I mean, last year he gave up 28 home runs in 24 starts. And like it would be one thing if he was pitching like 200 innings, but it was 124 innings. So like he's giving up a home run every 5 innings, basically, less than that. Every 4 and some innings, he's giving up a home run. And you just can't do that. Like you can't give up that many home runs. And then when you're coupling that with his walk rate, which isn't great, it's this year it's bad, but last year it was fine. It's just not a good recipe. So I think it's just like we're just trying to. I think we know who JT Brubaker is as a starter at this point. Like he's a very mediocre starting pitcher. I would like to see him in that bullpen role where you get like 1 or 2 innings of max effort out of him, right? I would like to see that. It's just right now they need arms to throw innings, and like he's one of them. So we probably won't get a chance to see that at least anytime soon, because I would still say at this point his rotation spot's pretty safe.
Yeah, just by default. And so like I'm with you in the sense that I was also I wanted to see him this year, because I did feel a lot of last year was just maybe a second half breakdown. You talk about coming in as a reliever, like he looked really good. Part of that also was the fact that like that was the first time he was pitching in 2 years when he made his debut. Like he just hadn't had innings because of injury and such. So like him going into the rotation last year just kind of seems odd to a degree, because was he really built up for it? So the second half, he fell apart. I think all of us, for the most part, felt like it probably had a lot more to do, maybe, with just him breaking down than like ability. And I think maybe what we're seeing this year is maybe it was a little bit both. Maybe just the ability really isn't there. You can equate maybe somewhat to just, the innings amount, amount of innings he had to throw last year. But I think what we're seeing right now is maybe it is more to the ability. He really just isn't a starting pitcher. But again, I'm intrigued by his stuff, and I think it does translate to being a productive bullpen arm. So, like, I'm with you too. Like, that's going to come hopefully sooner than later. But right now, he just has to be in the rotation because you need innings, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that dilemma. We've ran into this with multiple pitchers on this team for the past 5 years or so. They really just don't have any good starting pitching. And so anyone who's just like capable of doing the job basically has to do it. And when you run into that, you're giving guys opportunities and they're just not like living up to their full potential, probably. Like I said, when we talk about with Chad Kuhl all the time, right? Like that was kind of your guy. But like Chad Kuhl, and who knows now, maybe he is a starting pitcher based on what he's doing right now. But like with Pittsburgh, he had to be a starting pitcher because he was one of the 5 best starters on that team. But again, he was probably better suited for a 2-inning role type of guy in the bullpen. And so we've seen this with Kuhl. We're seeing it with Brubaker. We saw it with Will Crow last year where, they had to have him start games. Now you put Will Crow in the bullpen. He looks like a completely different guy. And it's not even like Will Crow doesn't look any different. Like as a pitcher, it's just his just something about him clicked in the bullpen. It's working, right? Same thing happened with like Chris Stratton, right? Chris Stratton was a mediocre starting pitcher for a while. You put him in the bullpen, he's now, pretty good reliever, right? So yeah, I think I don't know if we'll ever get to that point where we get to see JT Brubaker as a reliever. I don't know. I mean, right now he's squarely in that rotation. There's not a whole lot of starting pitching depth like at the high levels of the minor leagues right now for the Pirates. Like there's not too many people out there who are going to take Brubaker's rotation spot. So he'll probably be in that rotation all year.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt that one bit. Again, right. just for the fact there's many other guys that you could look at the pecking order. I mean, it's probably gonna be Zach Thompson first. And you got to expect like if Quintana's pitching the way he is, or Bryce Wilson, yes.
Yeah.
And if Quintana's pitching the way he is, well, then he's traded the deadline. So you need JT Brubaker still. And if he's terrible, let me know, just be cut. and you find someone else. So, like that's another thing too. Like there's 3 guys that he's probably going to be above, come at the end of the year and still be here for. So it just, I don't know, like this is one of the things that irritate me about this whole offseason. Like it didn't have to be like this. This is why it just kind of stinks, right? I think you can identify that you needed some arms, you need some depth, just wasn't acquired, and here's this team. So it's like, in that sense too, I think that Brubaker could be a really good reliever. I just hope this Pirate team doesn't run him to the ground, and then he's just not a good pitcher at all once he's needed and to become that good reliever. So like that's part of a worry, like maybe a little small part. Like I'm not out here saying like the Pirates going to ruin him, but it's in the back of the mind. Are they just going to run him into the ground? And then once they do need a good reliever out of him, he's just a dead arm and wasted. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we both, you said it earlier today. I've said it earlier in the year, but like I do want to see a full season out of Brubaker because last year, like I said, it was really his first full year starting in a while. And he just kind of broke down that second half. So like, was that really just a breakdown? And now that he's done it, like, can he be more effective? I don't know, but I'm not ready to like give up on Brubaker by any means. He's he's intriguing enough that he deserves his starts. And I think there could be something there. So this is kind of the time to find out.
Sounds good enough for me. All right, let's move on from the starters here. I guess if we want to talk a little bit about the bullpen, and I say just a little bit because we didn't see a ton of Wilcrow. We saw no, that was in Milwaukee. I was gonna say Peters opened. That was Milwaukee. So, anyways, we saw a lot of bad bullpen. I think this series, which is like if Wilcrow isn't in there, like Dylan Peters isn't in there. Bednar, I'll say, even though he did give up a run, like I just feel like this bullpens can get pretty bad, and we saw a lot of that.
It's just not deep, right? Like they have like their main guys who they go to in their situations, and
in which they need to get like 3 innings out of.
Right, and here's the thing: like you can't expect Dylan Peters to have a 0 ERA this year, right? So like Dylan Peters currently has a 0 ERA. That's not really a sustainable thing. So like at some point, Dylan Peters is going to give up a run, right? At some point, Wilcrow is going to give up a run. That just happens in baseball, right? At some point, David Bednar is going to give up a run. Chris Stratton's the one guy where he's looked a little shaky every once in a while, but I'm like, if you kind of dig down deep into his starts, I don't like think there's any issues with Chris Stratton whatsoever. But the other guys, right? Heath Hembry has looked bad. Aaron Fletcher was bad. Sam Howard. I don't know what happened to Sam Howard. Like he seemed like he was a pretty decent left-handed reliever, like when the Pirates first got him, and he's not anymore. Like he's bad.
He's very bad. And I'm with you. Like I really liked Sam Howard. I thought that was one of the I'm not gonna say diamonds in the rough. Like he's not that good, but that was like one of the pickups. Is like, wow, that worked out. Like he is a really good reliever. I don't know if it's. I mean, we can all talk about the sticky stuff. Like I don't know if he's one that was really affected, but there was also kind of a line in his numbers where he was good and then wasn't good anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, like
I know the spin rate's down and stuff, but yeah, he's been.
But yeah, I mean, like yeah, he's been bad. Like, not having Banda around is when it comes to lefties, and you have to go Fletcher and Howard, it's neither are good. Chase DeYoung's actually been okay since being called up, but again, we know who he is. It's not like nobody's going to be getting excited about Chase DeYoung. Miguel Yajores looked bad, just straight up hasn't looked good. So again, like there's definitely some bright spots in that bullpen.
Just real quick, do you think? Like,
No, he's not. He's one of the first guys off of this team. I think
we were talking about a little bit yesterday, and that's what I think as well.
I mean, first off, they're not pitching him in like valuable situations. Like he's pitched 5 times this year. No, he's pitched 6 times this year, and the Pirates have. And he won one of those. So, but the other 4, the last 5 times he's pitched have all been like mop up roles, right?
And in that role, it's been bad.
Right. Yeah, he hasn't really excelled in that. So I think they send him down to build, because he's a guy you probably want starting. Yeah. Honestly, he's still really young. I mean, he's 24. He just turned 24 yesterday, actually. So 24 years old, give him some starts in AAA, and then, maybe you can try him out later in the year if he's showing some success down there, but he's just not it right now. The stuff doesn't look great. The command doesn't look great. He's getting hit. like I said, if you're a pitcher like him and your stuff isn't like crazy good, right? You just have to have really good command of it. And he hasn't really been showing that. So I'd like to get him. I mean, the other thing too is like he's only pitched 10 innings, like in what now, 3 weeks, 10 innings in 3 weeks. Like you need to. I would like to see him in Indianapolis, just kind of getting more innings and starts. Honestly, like he's a guy he needs to pitch more. To be honest,
Yep,
and he's not really helping. Yeah, he's not really helping out the major league team right now. So send him down.
Yeah. But just like you're saying, to your point, like all these guys just don't look good, right? Fletcher, Hembree, we talked about. Chase DeYoung, like I guess what you're saying. Like, I mean, I guess the 0 ERA, but there's nothing that I've seen out of him that I'm like, he could be an okay reliever. Again, so far. I mean, it's been very limited innings, but we have his past, and in this short time of him being up here, it's almost like I guess Hembree. Was Hembree the one where the results were kind of there at first until they weren't?
At first, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's how I look at Chase now. Like it's like, yeah, he has a 0 ERA per se right now, but that's going to change rather quickly in my eyes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Hembree though, he's just not. He hasn't been the same guy really since like 2019 or so. They signed him, and I think they were expecting him to kind of be like a late inning type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not showing that he has that capability at all right now. Like I don't want Heath Hembree around high leverage situations at all. Like don't want him there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I didn't really hate. I'll put it that way. Hate the acquisition. It's not like I loved it, but I was there too. Like this guy's had success. He was with the Red Sox. You know, there's something there. It's the Pirates by all means. You know, give him the opportunity. But right, so far what I've seen out of him, not great.
Yeah, he's been bad too. But right now, I mean, they're paying him guaranteed money too. So like Heath Hembree will be there a while. Somehow he's like remained on major league rosters. Like somehow last year he threw 42 innings and accumulated a 6.38 ERA. Like I don't really know what the Reds and the Mets were doing.
Not winning.
I mean, actually, he pitched 57 innings last year, and he was just bad. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't been good since 2019. That was really his last time he had any success. So I think we're just seeing a guy on the downside of his career. This could very well potentially be, especially, I mean, being a right-handed reliever, this could be like his last time you ever see him in the majors. I mean, unless he turns it around. There's not another job after this one, I don't think.
Potentially Cincinnati, but that's about it.
You go back to the Reds, right?
Can you field a pop-up? You can play for the Reds. Hey, you know, the Pirates have finally moved on from like the laughing stock of MLB. There's a new video to go viral to laugh at, and it doesn't include the Pirates. So another win for the Pirates this weekend, right? They actually went 2 for 4.
I honestly can't wait to play them. Like I want to just like see. I want to see them. Like I haven't actually watched the Reds all year because I'm in the Reds media market. So Reds games are blacked out for me.
Right.
On MLB TV, so I can't even watch them, which means I'm not even going to really be able to watch them next weekend. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pirates can do against a team that is clearly just absolutely reeling right now. No one's doing anything on that team well. Like you look at the entire lineup is terrible. The pitching staff is not good. They have some fun pitchers like with Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo, but God, that team's bad. I didn't think they were going to be that bad.
Oh no, not at all. Even like after the teardown, right?
Yeah.
Like after all the
Right.
what they did, they can't be this bad. But here they are. And what is it, 3-19 at this point?
They're 3-19, which if you look at it, and you actually if you add in like run differential and all that, it's the worst start in the history of baseball since they integrated.
Nice.
So
can't wait for the Pirates to go 1-2.
It's so bad. Well, it's a 4-game series. You got one on Friday.
That's right.
Double header Saturday. So you get like a double dose of the Reds on Saturday. And then Sunday. So 4-game series next weekend. It's Kentucky Derby weekend down here. So I can't leave Louisville to go. Otherwise, I'd go hit up that doubleheader. But I'm going to try to go to the game on Sunday. I'm going to try. I know. I think it was Connor yesterday said I can't go to any more games. But the Pirates won the last game I was at. Pirates won the last game I was at. So the curse is gone. No more curse.
That was a blip.
Yeah.
The curse took a day off.
No, curse is lifted.
It was a Sunday.
It's no longer a thing. So I think I'm in the clear to go back to games now.
Well, we're done. Not watching that game. It's going to be a disaster. Yeah. But anyways, so speaking of curses, no, I'm not going to put him out there that bad. Anthony Alford, though, didn't come back to Pittsburgh. So Anthony Alford was DFA'd, right? He elected free agency. Let's talk about that a little bit, Jim. Just because I feel like, for one, it's Anthony Alford. So anytime any Anthony Alford news comes up, we got to talk about it. But I'm also just like surprised he's been around this organization for this long. Like we talked about, like how he even survived the 40-man. Why was he protected? And then he made one start. He was DFA'd. So he elects free agency. So I guess for the most part, cross your fingers, how you want to look at it. The book's probably closed for him in Pittsburgh, right? Going forward. Like we're done with Anthony Alford here.
Probably. I can't imagine him re-signing, which is kind of actually surprising. Like I thought he would accept the assignment because I do think like with the outfield depth that we have, like I think we would have seen Anthony Alford again this year.
I 100% agree.
Point. Yeah. You know, had he gone to Indy, gone down there and done what he's done in AAA, like he's hit very well in AAA for a while now. I feel like he would have gotten another opportunity just like at some point in time. So a little surprised he chose free agency, but maybe he's just, looking for a change of scenery again, like a fresh start, which is fine. I was reading an MLB trade rumors article, and they were trying to kind of speculate and guess at like some logical landing spots. And, they mentioned Atlanta. And I was like, I don't know. I guess because same thing, because of like just their outfield depth right now. But I don't know if, I guess there's a lot of teams who would give him a minor league deal, like the same deal he had here, but
sure.
Because he is still just 27. He's shown defense, athleticism, and a little bit of pop.
He's
strikeouts
very talented.
Yeah, he's very talented. It's just the strikeouts, right? The strikeouts are just like too much. You can't strike out like half the time in the major leagues, right? That's been his issue. So like, is there a team out there who's going to give him a shot? There might be a couple still who like haven't completely written him off. At the same time, I could also even see him going like overseas and being a pretty good player, because he doesn't have to deal with 96 plus mile per hour fastballs, in Japan or Korea or wherever it may be. Right. So that could be a place where maybe he kind of finds some success and gives another go here. I'm not really sure what his thinking is or what he's going to do here. Is there a team out there who can give him a shot? Maybe, but you would think that, out of the teams available and the teams that are out there, there's not too many worse than the Pirates right now.
If you're looking for opportunity, there's an organization that is bad and also has only rostered 3 outfielders on the team.
Right.
You would probably want to stay in that organization. So like I'm with you too. I was kind of shocked that he told the Pirates no.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing.
Yeah, I mean, you think one injury. Like if Ben Gamel gets hurt tomorrow,
yeah,
like Anthony Alford's probably called up. Like if he's in AAA, like Alford's probably the guy called up. So yeah, it's a little surprising that he chose free agency, but he may just want kind of a fresh start somewhere. So I mean, not going to blame him there. He really hasn't had a ton of I mean, he's played parts of like 6 seasons now in the major leagues
since 17.
And yeah, I mean, he just hasn't been given like a really long extended look anywhere. But at the same time, you can't give long extended looks to people who are striking out half the time. That's kind of been his issue. So maybe find somewhere new, find someone else who can give him a little bit of a look, someone who finds his athleticism and his skills intriguing. And who knows? I mean, but I think still at the end of the day, like I think he is who he is. He's got a lot of tools, but the strikeouts are they're just going to be too much for him in the long run.
Yep. I'm with you. Like I'm over it. And not in the sense like, I mean, it sounds harsh. I mean, it is what it is, but like I'm over in the sense too, I just don't believe in his abilities as a major leaguer. So it's almost like like I'm almost happy he did this because he's making the decision for us that we don't have to see it again. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
It's like that bad breakup. Like, I don't want to break up with you. I don't want to be the bad person. So if you do it, I don't need to look bad. You know, it's like he broke up with the Pirates. So it's like deep breath. It didn't have to be us. You know, we can move on now. And that's how I feel like now we can move on from Anthony Alford. Albeit we'll probably need him. You know, that's where I was. Like, that's how low this team has gotten when I'm concerned that they DFA'd Anthony Alford in that situation and brought up, you know, Slusser, because he's an actual outfielder that can play the position. And that's how bad this team's outfield play is. Like, just being we talk about just being a starter, giving you 5 innings, and you're like, oh my God, it's a good start. Like, just being a person who can play outfield.
Yeah.
I just feel like, okay, good. Like, we have one of those on the team. And that's how I felt on Anthony Alford that time. Like, at least he was an outfielder. Why are you DFAing him? But here we are. So Anthony Alford no longer with the team, with the organization. So I guess I'll kind of transition that because you're right. Like, I felt like he was going to get the next guy up. Jack Sawinski is here currently. Does this maybe bode well for him to have more opportunities in the major leagues because he is an outfielder?
I feel like Jack Sawinski this year is going to be kind of like that guy that Castro was.
Mm-hmm.
Where like he'll be there like in a pinch if you need somebody. I think ideally, you know, they wouldn't say that if they're looking at like a depth chart, Sawinski wouldn't be that guy right now. Like, I think they would rather Swaggerty be that guy or Kanan Smith and Jigba be that guy. But right now, I don't know if you can justify giving either of those people an opportunity because neither have played well, right? Whereas Sawinski was playing really well in Double-A to start the year and kind of earned that spot. Like we were speculating that day, you know, they needed people called up really quick because of, you know, people were sick, right? So who were we going to call? Marcano, Sawinski, they're both on the 40-man, get them up here from Altoona. They can drive over in, you know, an hour and 45 minutes, whatever it is. It's harder to get people from Indy that quick. But then Sawinski just kind of stuck around, right? And I think it's just because those other options that are in Indianapolis, they're just not, they haven't done anything to deserve a call-up yet. So, but I think at some point the Pirates would love to call up Travis Swaggerty and give him some playing time. But like Swaggerty has to show that he can hit AAA pitching before he can do that. Right now, it's not doing that.
What are you seeing from Sawinski so far in his cup of coffee?
He hasn't been overmatched by any means. He's basically, I think, been the definition of like that replacement level player. You know, like he's come up. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been good. He's basically just been a guy that you can put out there in right field to play the position. Like by definition, he's been replacement. Now 6 games. He only played 6 games. Hasn't walked yet. His strikeout rate seemed perfectly fine. So like again, he doesn't look overmatched. Like if you were looking at him at the plate and you were just analyzing a random Jack Sawinski plate appearance, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, this guy's overmatched. This guy, what's he doing up here, right? He looks the part. I think his defense is fine. He hasn't done anything spectacular yet or of note. He's been a guy.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I don't think any of us were expecting to see Jack Sawinski this early in the year. So it's encouraging to see that, you know, he's here right now. But I like that they're actually like giving him playing time too. Like I'd rather him be here and playing every day than having him be up here and just and not playing every day. Like I think we've seen how important we've actually seen just how great it is this past series, really having 3 outfielders. Like it's been really good having outfielders play outfield. So I'm glad that they're at least on this kick now where they're playing 3 outfielders at a time. So
how important has the outfield defense been, especially this series too? I mean, think about not only were the plays spectacular, but the plays that Marisnick made had he not could have, and then Gamble yesterday as well. Like had that not been caught. So you're absolutely correct. And then of course going last week to the big play Marisnick. I mean, that won the game for them. So I mean, yeah, outfield defense coming in the clutch right now.
Yeah, it's just so refreshing to actually like have people out there who can play outfield. You know, so that's been the difference there. So I think as long as Sawinski continues to show that he's not completely overmatched, like I think he'll get some shots here because there's no one else banging on the door. Like until Smith and Jigba and until Swaggerty can show any forms of life in AAA, I think Sawinski's going to continue to get some playing time up here as long as he doesn't look completely overmatched, which up to this point, he's held his own. He hasn't been good again, but he hasn't looked terrible.
Yep. And that's all I want to bring him up to, because I'm with you. Like I've been encouraged seeing him, you know, like you said, he doesn't look overmatched. He doesn't look like he doesn't belong here. It's not been good. It's not been productive. I mean, he has like basically no exit velocity to anything he makes contact with so far, but he's making contact. He's not up there and just striking out and looking silly. So yeah, like right now, the thing is the numbers don't support him being here. If you look at that, but just seeing his at bats, I don't mind seeing him stick around a little bit. And with Anthony Alford gone, I think that's going to give him the opportunity to get more at bats in the major leagues. So I think we'll be seeing a little more Sawinski than not currently, which also again would be a good thing because maybe that means that we're not seeing Cole Tucker in right field. That's a win. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's a win.
Right. So anyways, I guess kind of to wrap the show up here. So what else with the bats? I guess maybe a little bit of Brian Reynolds coming back, showing a little bit of life.
He had a lot better series. I'll say that. You know, if you kind of just look, he was drawing some walks this series. He wasn't. He didn't strike out once this series, which I think is probably the biggest sign, because I think that was our issue before, especially in like the Cubs series and then the Milwaukee series, was he just looked completely lost up there and he was striking out like crazy. But this series, he only picked up 2 hits, right? So he was still just, well, let's see, 2 for not bats here.
And that walk-off was an error
Stupid.
recorded, right?
Yeah, they recorded that as an error, which it probably was. I thought it had a shot at getting, I thought it had a shot at getting, overturned, but gosh, Fangraphs making you do math on their game logs. Not a fan of that.
You're fine.
Okay. San Diego series. Let's see. Regular season, Brian Reynolds. Let's go with that. But drawing a bunch of walks. Here we go. He was 2 for 8. 2 for 8. Okay. With 5 walks. So he got walked 5 times. He had the first hit by pitch of the season too for the Pirates on May 1st. So he was getting on base. Good series. No strikeouts is the big thing for me there. So yeah, hopefully he's turning things around. He's still not really hitting the ball hard anywhere. But he's making contact, which I guess is a positive. He's drawing more walks, getting on base. He scored 4 runs this series just from getting on base, as much as he was. His WAR is back to even. It's an even 0. It was, which I think it was like negative 0.3 going into the series. So he's climbing back up there. Weighted runs created plus up to 90. So he's like almost average now. So yeah, hopefully we're seeing a little bit of a turnaround here. He's looking more comfortable at the plate. Yeah, let's see if we can keep this up, because the Pirates desperately need Brian Reynolds to be the 2020. They need him to be the 2019 and the 2021 version of Brian Reynolds, or at least some semblance of that. And not the 2020 Brian Reynolds.
Take that back. The Pirates do not. The Pirates need 2020 Brian Reynolds. So that way the Pirates can say, here's your extension offer. You don't deserve 6 WAR season money. You deserve 1 WAR season money. That's what the Pirates need. You want 2021 Brian Reynolds. That's not what the Pirates want.
So I think if he's 2020
you just
Brian
totally
Reynolds,
bypass that. You're just like, no, we ain't talking about that.
If he's 2020 Brian Reynolds, the Pirates aren't offering any extension. Like, that's a bad player.
We'll see.
So no, we need something in, like, I don't think 2021 is probably an outlier. Like, I don't think Brian Reynolds is necessarily like a 6 WAR player year in and year out. But like, if he can be like a 4, like, that would be great.
Oh, that's a really good player. That's Starling Marte.
Which,
by the way, he was a 5 WAR player up until about a week ago when Fangraphs updated their defense. Now he's a 6 WAR player.
Yeah.
So there's that too.
So yeah, they need him to turn it around. And like we've talked about it, like none of us have been concerned. Like we all believe in Brian Reynolds and that he can turn it around. It's just a matter of like when. And so maybe this is kind of that turning point where we're seeing him looking more comfortable at the plate, which leads to better plate appearances, which leads to getting on base, which leads to hitting the ball hard, which leads to better numbers. So,
and again, he turned around in the San Diego one. There's a little bit of a difference. It's probably no better timing than to face the Reds. Like, now the coming out party can come, right? Like, you face the Reds and now he just breaks out and then boom, he's on a tear.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Gets a day off, right? Goes to Detroit, then the Reds.
Detroit's bad too this year.
Right.
They have not been good.
All right. So what else do we want to talk about here? Anything?
We've been talking for over an hour. So maybe just have that be it. Detroit series coming up, 2-game series, and then another off day. So I think they've got 2 off days this week.
So definitely need some guys to sit then.
Right. But no, I mean, this is definitely a week where they can make some noise. I mean, they're playing 6 straight games now against bad teams. I mean, Detroit is 7-14. We've already talked about how bad the Reds are. So both of these teams have been worse than the Pirates up to this point. So, you'd love to see them go like 4-2 or 5-1, in this 6-game stretch. That would be really great, because then it's a 3-game series against the Dodgers, which I don't know, probably not going to go that well. But then it's Cincinnati again. So like it's crazy. Like they've got 8 games against Cincinnati coming up here in the next 2 weeks. Sprinkle in some Detroit. They could actually like be in an okay spot come mid-May if they can take advantage of these bad teams that they're playing.
True. Yeah, that's like kind of the crazy thing, because even so far they've played some bad teams to this point. Like when you take out the Brewers, it's been a lot of Cubs, which is a bad team.
Yeah.
The Nationals, right? So maybe a little smoke and mirrors on the Pirates record come mid-May, but we'll take it.
Yeah, no more Milwaukee for a while though. So they don't play Milwaukee until the end of June. So let's avoid those guys, because it has not been good against them. The Brewers have had their number, but against everybody else, they've looked just fine.
Let's play that every single year.
Right.
Yeah. All right, then we'll get out of here. So as mentioned, we'll be back probably with the post game on Tuesday after the Tigers game. So with that said,
sounds good.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.